Hello and welcome to 10.4 Solving Quadratic Equations in Factored Form. Today we're going to take a look at how to solve problems like these where we have to solve a quadratic equation that's already written in factored form. So the first thing I want you to understand is what is factored form. These are three examples of quadratic equations written in factored form. There are two binomials being multiplied together. So here we have x minus 3 times x plus 4. Here we have x times x plus 7, and here we have the expression negative 3x plus 6 times 2x minus 4. They're written in factored form. Now, if we multiply them out using strategies like FOIL that we've learned earlier in Chapter 10, in this situation, x minus 3 times x plus 4, if I multiply that out, my answer is going to be x squared minus x minus 12. And you can try that out and make sure that it does work. So these really mean the same thing. This is the quadratic formula, or the quadratic form of the equation. This is the factored form. Okay, so once we understand factored form, what we're going to try to accomplish is to figure out the solutions for these expressions. So back in chapter 9, I think earlier in our text, we took a quadratic equation like this and we tried to solve and find its solutions by using the quadratic formula or by graphing it. And one thing we always had was it was set equal to 0, x squared minus x minus 12 equals 0. We worked with equations like that. So what we're going to do in this lesson is we'll take these factored form expressions and we're going to set them equal to 0 as well. And now we have the same quadratic formula just written in a different way. Now this is really cool. To figure out the solution, we have to understand or use something called the zero product property. The zero product property says that any number times 0 is always 0. So in this situation, x minus 3 times x plus 4 equals 0. One of these binomials, one of these little groupings inside parentheses, has to have a value of 0. So think with me. What number could go in for x and make this part, x minus 3, equal to 0? Well, how about 3? 3 minus 3 is 0. If x was 3, this becomes 0. This x would still be 3, so 3 plus 4 is 7. You'd have 0 times 7, which equals 0. It checks. Okay. Now, maybe this first parenthesis grouping, this first binomial, doesn't have a value of 0, but maybe the second one does. What number could we drop in for x here to make this add up to 0? How about negative 4? Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. That works. If this has a value of 0, we'll multiply by whatever's in this parenthesis. Negative 4 minus 3 is negative 7. That would give you 0. 0 times negative 7 is 0. So the solutions then become 3 and negative 4. Now one way that you can write it out goes something like this. We're going to set each of these parentheses equal to 0. So x minus 3 can equal 0. And we can have x plus 4 equaling 0 as well. Now if we solve these two equations, add 3 on this side, add 3 to this side, you are going to get x equals negative 3. I'm sorry, x equals positive 3. Hate it when I misspeak. And on this side, if I subtract 4 from this side of the equation and subtract 4 from this side, I'm going to get x equaling negative 4. Hope that helps a little bit in an introduction on how to solve quadratic equations. This is the background information. Check out my second video if you need to learn a little bit more.